What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of REV Sports Wrap It Up. I'm Josh Mabry alongside Soul Tushka. Wish you were here, but unfortunately, man's got to do what he's got to do.
He's got to make that money, yo.
Gotta make that money, yo. So we understand that. But anyway, the show must go on for today. And today, speaking about wrapping up, we're pretty much going to be wrapping up the 2024 Summer Olympics, which means, kids, it's time to you go back to school. Unfortunately, that's what that means. And also, it's football season. Oh, baby, it's getting there. Yeah. Well,
Are
we'll
you
get
excited, Josh?
A little bit. I just rubbed my hands together for no reason in preparation. But no. And somebody, we'll get to a little bit later, did experience some football this past weekend, which isn't the kicking kind. There might be some kicking, but much more throwing and catching and hitting each other with pads and helmets. But anyway, I digress. Let's get right into it. Baseball, we're running the bases a little bit. The Reds did run the bases today. They did beat the Cardinals, but they're still about 2 to 3 games back from 500. It's there. I know I say the same thing every show. Unfortunately, it's still the same. The Reds have the roster. They don't have the manager nor the ownership to really get this team to succeed at the level that I think they can. So it's be one thing if the team just sucked, but when you've got a generational talent, you've got decent pitching, and you've also got other complementary players to go around. Ellie, who's very young, but you can just tell that we should be a playoff team, and we're just not, and it stinks because we're wasting Ellie, and I don't want to. But your Red Sox, they're doing okay.
We've lost to the Astros 3 games in a row.
Well, it's the Astros. They cheat. But allegedly so did the Red Sox, but we didn't know. I don't know.
And allegedly the Yankees and the Dodgers too.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, no, just the Yankees and Dodgers cheat financially. I want to see their books.
But we're currently right now it's tied 3-3 with the Rangers, bottom of the 8th. So hopefully we can win that.
Yeah, it could be worse. You could be the Rockies. They're going for something. And not in a good way. Hey, Jeremy. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, so it's and speaking about getting into fall, we're getting into October where running the bases really does start to ramp up when we finally let the dust settle and we really start getting into some serious playoff baseball, which is there's a difference between regular season and playoff baseball.
Closer to October, baby.
Yep, closer to October, closer to kicking off. We're getting football, but not really football because it's preseason. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Let's jump in to some really good basketball, okay, that happened at the Olympics. Jumping into the men's, who I think the world's catching up. But let's go over what happened. Brazil, not caught up yet. It was pretty much just they tipped it up and then that was pretty much game. But the U.S. won that 122-87. The starting five of LeBron, Devin Booker, Drew Holiday, Joel Embiid, Steph Curry. Devin Booker led Team USA with 18 points. Bruno Caboclo, I can never get his last name right, of Brazil led all scores with 30. Kevin Durant passed Lisa Leslie for the most points in U.S. Olympic basketball history with 489 all-time points by the end of the game. Everyone played on it with that game. This game, it was, like I said, it was a nothing burger of a game.
Yeah.
Your typical. If you've watched your Team USA from 1992, not counting 2004 and on, those are the type of games that you expect. And just us coming out being way better than the other team, and you're like, okay, here we go. But we played Serbia the next game, who has the best player in the world, in Jokic. There really isn't a doubt in that. I don't think anyone really ever denies that. He is pound for pound the best player in basketball right now. He's proven it for the past 3 years. But but anytime you play a team for the 4th time or 3rd time, something like that, it's just hard to beat that team that many times in this short of a time period. And Serbia, all counts and purposes, outplayed us. But we're America, and that's why you play all the minutes, and that's why you have Steph Curry on your team. But no, they came back. U.S. came back from about a 17-point deficit at one point, And it was just bad. I mean, we were down by like 14 and a half. We couldn't cut into the lead in the third quarter. And then this crazy thing happened. Steve Kerr put the best players on the court at the same time. Okay, because most people don't realize that Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and Steph Curry hadn't really played meaningful minutes together in this Olympics. But that being said, Kevin Durant was being held out because of injuries and stuff like that. So they really hadn't got to it. And you could really tell. And it wasn't like U.S. played bad. This was just a good basketball game on that. But getting to the things here, LeBron, Devin Booker, Drew Holiday, Joel Embiid, Steph Curry started. Serbia had Nikola Joker, Bogdanovic, Alexa Dorovic, and Petrusev. There we go.
I put those words specifically for Josh to pronounce them.
Right. Bogdanovic kept talking crap to Carmelo on the sidelines, and you just piss us off. That's all we want. Just give us a little bit. But he was talking crap, and you know what? For about 2.5 to all 3 quarters, his team was backing up. He really didn't do much, but his team was backing it up. Steph Curry led all scores with 36 points, one shy of tying Carmelo Anthony's single points record of 37. LeBron had a triple-double, 16, 12, and 11, which is 16 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists. Joker had a double-double, surprise, 17 points, 11 assists. And then everyone but Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton played, which Boston Celtics fans are pissed.
They're so wonderful, aren't they?
Yeah. And then the main event, okay, there was no way U.S. was losing this game just because if you're going to – typically when you watch a team, especially in the tournament, like the NCAA tournament, and they're the better team, if there's going to be one game where it doesn't matter if one team's really on, you might be a little off or something like that. And if you don't catch them then you're not going to catch them. So after we pulled out Serbia, we're like, we're winning this. And then if you look it up, we're playing them on August 10th, 2024. Those are, if you do it right, those are Kobe Bryant's 3 numbers that he wore as a professional. He wore number 8 and 24 for the Lakers, and then he wore number 10 for Team USA. So I was like, we better win by 81. So I was a little disappointed we only won by 11. But it was actually a lot closer than we thought. But Steph Curry put everyone to sleep in France. But the starting 5 was LeBron, Devin Booker, Joel Embiid, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry. And then Steph led Team USA with 24 points, shooting 8 for 12 on 3-pointers. Wemby led all scorers with 26 points. And LeBron had a double-double again with 14 points and assists. Everyone but Tyrese Halliburton and Derek White played. And then Sol, there's a couple of nuggets there that if you want to go over real quick before I kind of get into what I thought about this game.
Well, first off, Yabusele of France played his heart out, had such a good game. The moment too when he shot over LeBron, I was just like, you don't need to win the gold. That's your moment right there. Just have that, frame it, put it in your house. Just when people come over, just show it, be like, look at this. Look at this beauty. And then the other thing that we have is just the French fans. They've been booing Embiid this whole tournament. And when he finally got his medal, everyone was doing the
come on,
hands, bring it. And just look at how happy he is. Oh, there we go. Just winning. Look at that smile. It was worth it. It was.
And to go on with Joel, he's a dog. People are giving him crap. He's been getting crap all the time in the NBA, and then he was kind of getting crap because he really wasn't playing very well in the group stage.
Right.
But then when the actual tournament, the single elimination happened, Joel showed up in every game.
He was playoff Joel instead of playoff Jimmy. He's like, I'm waiting for the knockout rounds.
Right, he was waiting for the knockout rounds because he stepped up big, especially against. I mean, Brazil. Everyone had a great time. That really wasn't much of a game, but he played great against Serbia. He played great against France. And I will say this, guys. In 4 years from now, the best player in the tournament is going to be playing for France. Victor Wembanyama is a freak, and he's only 20 years old.
Yep.
So you're going to have you're probably going to have a little bit thicker frame, a little bit more in his prime Wemby. in 4 years. And yes, will Team USA always be able to field top to bottom the best roster? But they want to have the best player. And we better have the second, third, and fourth best players that we do, because Jokic was the best player in the tournament, but we have the, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and LeBron, and you go down the line on that. But Wemby is going to be a problem. He's going to be fun to watch for you San Antonio Spurs fans out there, and it's just going to be seeing great how much more his game already is going to develop. There's a amazing. We can't show him anything because the Olympics doesn't like people showing stuff. But there's some great screenshots of Steph Curry shooting over Wemby, and he hits that. There's the rainmaker that he did at the end to make everyone go night night. He could have easily passed it back to Durant, but he's Steph Curry.
Durant and LeBron were both open.
Wide open. But you know what? Steph Curry's like, I got this fadeaway over 2 6'8" dudes. Yeah, I got this. So it was fun there. But all in all, the game is catching up to US. Obviously more in the men's side than the women's. We'll get in the women's here in a second. I thought it was just more of, yes, it's a little bit for the women's, but more of the women's just didn't play like crap in the last game. But this was, if anyone will watch like good competitive basketball, I'd show them the Serbia and France game, and that's what's cool about it. Is it's a different style, but you have the best players in the world competing. You don't have LeBron sitting at home. You don't have Steph Curry and Kevin Durant all sitting at home. You have the best players for that country playing for each.
And Bam got his second medal.
Yep. They realized in the Serbia game, Bam can't hit the corner three. All right, Bam, sorry, you can't play for the rest of the game. You can't hit your corner three on that. But when push comes to shove, I know some people were saying LeBron got the MVP. Mm-hmm. Some people were saying it should have been Steph. I think that's a fun argument to have. And that opens up a can of worms to all those other people on the internet that have an NBA take that they won't let go as far as their feelings on LeBron and Steph.
Some people having NBA and WNBA takes. What?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, right? But that's why basketball is bigger than the Olympics, at least here in the U.S. People care more about the NBA than they do Olympics, which I understand only comes around every 4 years, and we typically don't send our best players. This just happened to be we sent our best players. I mean, even now they put Team USA, are we world champions now? People are like, no, because you didn't win the world championship FIBA. And I'm like, you semantic mother truckers. I don't care.
Like, I understood when Noah Lyles was just like, of the United States, he was correct there. But the people saying, no, you're not the world champions, I mean, like, we did play against the world. I understand, but you're being semantic. But Jerry Miller here said Steph put them all to sleep. Mm-hmm. He sure did. Him and LeBron both doing that.
Yeah, and then he had the hoodie. Did you see the hoodie where he had the French night, but it's in French?
And also, the picture after the game with him and his child that looks so fresh that people are like, why is this child out with the public right now? The one time Jokic didn't sweep LeBron.
Yep.
There we go. Tyrese Halliburton posted a caption saying, when you're in a group project and do none of the work. Yeah, he still got that A, though.
Still got that A.
And this might be the last time LeBron plays in the Olympics unless he rides the bench.
Honestly, LeBron, if he was 50 years old, would probably still make an NBA roster. He's just a freak with that. But it depends on how much LeBron wants to play, because we all know the world revolves around LeBron if you ask LeBron. But he's gotten to that point where he can make it happen. So,
all right.
No one's told him no ever since. So,
ready to talk U.S. women?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, first off, we beat Nigeria 88-74. And as we said last week, this is the first time that an African team has made it to the quarterfinals in the women's Olympic basketball. Our starting five: Jackie Young, Nafisa Collier, Brianna Stewart, Asia Wilson, Chelsea Gray. And this was kind of the start of, we're not going to start DT anymore. Thank you for your service. Right. You're going to be on the bench, but we still love you. And Asia Wilson led all scorers with 20 points with, surprise, surprise, a double-double with 11 rebounds. Everyone played in that match. I I just want to shout out Nigeria again, like being able to make it to a quarterfinal and be the first African team to do so. Like, hold your heads up high. You just happen to be playing against the United States.
Yeah. As they say, when you're like a small mid major and you do something crazy, hang the banner. You deserve it.
Exactly. And then we beat Australia 85-64, which to me, even though the France game, that was the toughest, and we'll get into that. Whenever we beat Australia, that's the game I always look forward to, because Australia always plays us tough. They typically have either the most WNBA players or the most former WNBA players. You also had Lauren Jackson, who came out of retirement to play for Australia. So it was a lot of fun watching that game. Our starting five was also Jackie Young, Nafisa Collier, Brianna Stewart, Asia Wilson, Chelsea Gray. So, same starting five there. Brianna Stewart led all scorers with 16 points in this game, and everyone played. But the big game, and the first time ever in history that both the men's and women, same two teams playing against each other. We beat France 67-66. And whoo boy. Starting five, Chelsea Gray, Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Nafisa Collier, Jackie Young. Asia led all scorers with 21 points, getting a double-double with 13 rebounds. Kalia Copper played so well coming off the bench with her 12 points and her free throws are kind of why we won, especially there at the end. Also want to shout out Kelsey Plum, who shot some crucial threes when we were down. I think we were as much as down as by like 8 points at one point, but and it wasn't even that France was playing well. It's just they were playing slightly better than us because we were playing like crap. Hola.
Couldn't hit a layup to save our life.
Missed layups, turnovers, sloppy play. I'm like, is our one bad game gonna be the freaking final? Like, what the hell? We legit almost lost. And if Gabby Williams of France, who she had a great game for France, was one step back, she would have tied the game and we would have went to overtime, and who knows what would have happened there. So thank you for stepping on that line. She is French American, born in the United States to a French mother. So I think she was doing her birth country a solid there by stepping on that line. Thank you, Gabby Williams, for that. But we eked it out. We got ourselves another gold medal, making it 8 in a row. DT's sixth, the most of any basketball player, and 61 games unbeaten for the U.S., making it 8 in a row. 61 games unbeaten for the U.S. women. This was supposed to be an easier game than it was. My brother and I were joking about, okay, so that was a fun game between the men, but the women were going to dominate them in this game. And then we're like, what the crap is going on as we were watching it? So, Josh, your thoughts on this game and how we almost broke our streak?
Jeremy kind of alluded to it. It's a good thing we won, because you would have heard if you would have just had Caitlin Clark there, and you would have never heard the end of it. You're hearing a little bit now of we would have handled it if we would have had Caitlin Clark. You don't know that.
Yeah.
But you would have definitely heard it if we would have lost for the first time since 1992. Especially with it's one thing if the men lost, because we were going up against, it was just back and forth good competition.
Mm-hmm.
This was just us laying an egg.
Yeah.
And this is me being cocky, the cocky American. It's our sport. We should win every game by 30, especially in the women's side. We're still a lot. There's us. I'm not saying 50 feet of crap, because that's not right. But there's us. Then there's the second and third floor, because we're in the penthouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's the penthouse that we're in. You're like on the 30th floor, if the penthouse is like the 60th, right?
Yeah.
So you're like on the 30th floor. You're not on the 50th, right? That France was basically playing us as. We just could not get out of our own way. We trying to force stuff. But hey, We won. I think that's the first like time that we've won by like less than six or 7 points in a international game in forever.
They said it was the closest women's final in Olympics history. Because
Yes,
usually we're in the finals.
Yeah, and then shout out also that France US final had 22 million viewers, which is insane. I don't remember last time. So if you don't think the Olympics matter, they do. But yeah, hey, a win's a win at this point. A win is a win. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning, as the one Shakespearean Dominic Toretto once said.
Yeah, and one thing that I will put up, Jeremy Miller said, yeah, we would have heard all the Caitlyn stuff, and it would have been really annoying. And we've talked about how great Caitlin Clark is on this. I was going to say pod, but it's not really a pod on this show. But with how sloppy everyone was playing, and mostly the reason why U.S. women sometimes play sloppy when they're playing internationally is because they haven't had a lot of time together. So that would be the same for Caitlin Clark. She would be playing probably the same that she played earlier in her WNBA career. A lot of turnovers, being a little sloppy, still a great player, still really good at what she does, but playing sloppy. And that's what happens when you don't have a lot of time in between games. You're playing with people you've never played before. You don't have a lot of practice. We talked about that at the beginning of the WNBA season. That's the same for these girls in the international game. So I'm kind of glad that we haven't had to have that argument, because I would have been like, y'all stop, because she would have been the same as everyone else out there.
All I've got to say is, well, France, you had your chance. 4 years from now, we will have Caitlin Clark, Bannister, and Asia Wilson, and Aaliyah Boston, and like we're. I'm sorry, it's just not. If you were gonna get us, it was gonna be this time.
As Jeremy said,
Juju Cambrink,
Paige
buckets. Like it was. You had a good time, only losing by one. And honestly, I would hang the banner for that. Yes, am I being cocky and overzealous? I don't care. You almost had us, and it got us nervous. Hey, you made U.S. women sweat for the first time. Congratulations.
There's a certain ad by Nike that for you just shared that kind of goes on the same sentiment.
Play.
It's inspiring when we think about it. Every 4 years, teams come from around the world to compete. For second place.
Yeah.
We are not sponsored by Nike, but if Nike would like to sponsor us,
hey, Phil Knight, you're still a cool guy in my heart, man.
One thing that I loved from this is Stewie and Asia Wilson. They've been playing USA basketball with each other for a very long time, and they decided to recreate a picture from back when they were, I think they said 19 years old. So just look at that. It's great.
It's the under. I think it's like the U19 or something, like the U8. I forget. U20. I don't know. They do a bunch of international like stuff. So.
And then the part that legit like had a tear to my eye was Brittany Griner crying during the national anthem. The announcer said during the medal ceremony that this was the first time BG has flown outside of the U.S. since her wrongful imprisonment in Russia. And to see what it means to her, first to fly outside of the country, even though it is France, but to fly outside of the country, to be there, to represent her country, to win a gold medal, my heart for BG. Anything you want to add?
You can just tell it's finally all the crazy whirlwind her life went through, and then to finally be back on the Olympic podium, and sometimes when you do something and that national anthem hits, it all just comes out. And so you could just tell of just her going through, and you can just tell it's like, oh, all that hard work, all that struggle, all that craziness that my life went through, and I'm still okay. We're still here. I'm still at the top. So that's awesome.
And she talked about it before too, that while she was in prison, she never thought she was going to be able to play basketball again.
Right.
So to be able to not only play basketball again, but to win a gold medal, I just my heart. And then DT, being DT, being funny, winning her 6. She was asked, how did it feel to one up your bestie, Sue Bird? You have one more gold medal than her now. And she said, it's the only reason I came. It's funny because we scored the same amount of points today.
Yeah.
I just love, she knows who she is, and I just love it. It's great.
And her parents being there. That was nice.
Yeah, that was really nice. Holly Rowe posted that, and I was just like, and I was just like, I wonder if her parents still don't speak English, and they're just there like going mijita, like.
I don't know, but she's definitely left the game a hell of a lot better than when she found it.
Definitely. So. Hey, 6 gold medals, man.
6, yeah, it's nuts.
And KD 4.
Yeah. I thought, because we were talking about it, like Melo was up there as Mr. U.S. Olympics, because it's the only championship he has, unfortunately. He has a national championship at Syracuse, but as far as NBA stuff, but it's Melo. Like, you can't not love Melo. It was great watching against Serbia when KD hit the one jumper, like it was an ISO thing, and you saw saw Melo and his son on the bench. Like, they're the only ones that stood up, and you could just, you can't miss Melo. He's, whatever. But he was sitting there. He was like, no, you go here, then you go here, and then and then Katie, you take it. And then Katie, like, literally, like, it was like they were listening to him. So people were like, Melo should be the coach in 4 years.
Definitely. Although I want Coach Bell.
Oh, well, he was on the coach staff.
He's on the coaching staff. I want him to be head coach.
He will in 4 years. If Spo's Spo, he'll be there in 4 years. That's my vote. Not just because you're here, but because you know how I feel about Spo.
I know how you feel about Spo, but we have a sport to talk about where I'm just gonna nod my head as you speak. So let's get into it.
It's football time. Yeah, woo! We're coming, baby. We've got our first full preseason games up. We've got full swing, mini camps in full swing, injuries for no reason, but they happen because it's stuff. You've got hard knocks going on with the Bears, and you've got, still people trying to figure out about wanting to be traded, and then teams are like, no, you can't be traded, and contract negotiations and all that stuff. So I'll start off with the rookies that there was 5 big time rookies that were drafted. Of the 5, they pretty much all looked fine. I don't think Atlanta played, so we haven't gotten to see.
Atlanta did play.
Oh, well, they didn't say anything about Penix. So Jeremy, if you know anything about that, but the rookie for Washington, Brown, he played. He threw a long bomb. It was really nice. Caleb Williams looked great. Looked as advertised. The only person that really did, Bo Nix looked pretty good. JJ McCarthy, who now has gotten something he was held out of practice for Minnesota. But other than Drake May basically played, I think, like maybe one series or something like that, but he looked okay. Mainly Joe Milton, the 6th round pick out of Tennessee. Okay, Penix only played one series. Okay, that makes sense. But other guys have more reps with that. So far so good. Other than Drake May, but he just hasn't had a good camp so far, which you typically would think rookies would. But Caleb Williams and the Heisman Trophy winner and Bo Nix, of all people, I have my doubts about Bo Nix, but so far so good on how he's looking there. CeeDee Lamb with the Cowboys. Jerry, just pay the man. At first, he's coming out saying, like, we're not in a rush, and then CD, like, retweeted that saying LOL, And now Jerry's basically kind of come out and be like, "Oh yeah, he's like the best receiver in the game. Maybe I should pay him." And a deal's gonna be, we're gonna get it. Jerry, just pay the goddamn guy. Get him back in camp. Quit.
Maybe I should pay him.
Stop it. Just stop it. Just pay it. You're 81 years old. I don't have to say the thing out loud. Pay the guy. All right. And then some other injury news. Hollywood Brown for the Kansas City Chiefs gets in for one series and hyperextends or dislocates his shoulder.
What a name, though.
Well, his name is actually Marquise Brown, but his nickname is Hollywood. And then Malik Neighbors. Okay. Whatever about that, Jeremy. And then Malik Neighbors, who is pretty much the rookie out of LSU, who looks the part, and he's pretty much going to be all of the Giants' offense because Saquon's not there anymore. Just pay him, Jerry. Jerry, just pay him. Just pay the guy. I don't want to go through this. I don't. You do it every time. But yeah, Malik Neighbors had a mild ankle sprain. So hopefully he'll be good to go by the season opener. Because especially being a rookie, you need your reps. So to get to that game speed, because from high school to college, you got to get used to that, and then obviously to the NFL, it's even crazier type of thing. But speaking about others' experiences, Sol experienced her first preseason game between the Dolphins and the Falcons. That's why she knew that the Falcons played this weekend because she was there. Yeah. That goes me for not reading ahead on that. So tell us a little bit about your experience watching the football.
Well, first off, the Dolphins won, so that's always a good time. My cousin was in town from Mexico. My cousin is originally from Atlanta, and her oldest daughter was born in Atlanta. So I was actually holding her hand walking in. I'm like, Issa, what team are you going to root for? And she was like, well, I was born in Atlanta, so I should root for the Falcons. But Leo, her younger brother, is a massive Dolphins fan, which my cousin doesn't understand why, because it's like, he's not from Miami. He's born and raised in Mexico. Why the Dolphins? But he loves the Dolphins. So it's like, but Leo's a Dolphins fan, so I want him to be happy. So I'm kind of rooting for both teams. And I'm like, oh, okay. We're tied 3-3. The Falcons get a touchdown. She's my cousin's kid, but I call her my niece. My niece gets up and goes, in your face, to her brother. And I was like, what about you want your brother to be happy?
Right.
So, but by the end of the game, she started rooting for the Dolphins because the Falcons were losing. So I was like, look at this fan switching over here. And even her mom was like, no, you got to stay with the losers.
Yeah.
So it was a fun game just watching my niece and nephew just have a ball. And the game was very, very long. I'm so used to a 90-minute soccer game go home that I'm just like, bro, this game's taking for freaking ever. I'm so tired.
Yeah, it's going to see good football. There's something like, to me, obviously, I just love football so much. Mm-hmm. But for those people who sit there and say soccer is boring, yes, it can be. But when you're invested in it, it's like nails. It's like edge of your seat, the most anxiety-driven thing you're ever going to do. Whenever you're invested in any sport, it's the same thing. Just in football, I've invested a lot of other things in football that, not just my fandom, but also in fantasy and other things like that. And I just love the sport. But for those out there in football, yes, they play for 60 minutes, but there's really only 11 minutes of actual action that goes on. But there's so much like, I don't know, should you run this play? Should you run that play? Just a whole lot of scheming that goes on that I just like behind the screens. Behind the screens. Yep, words. But yes, this, especially being preseason, it is long because you're having a bunch of, it's kind of mediocre
watching
football
bad football.
Yeah, just bad football, especially the first week in preseason where Tua's on the sideline the whole time. Like you're not going to see your best players. You're not going to see Tyreek Hill. You're not going to see all that. So you don't get to see real big NFL football.
Right.
You really don't get that experience. But I will say this: that preseason game, it's about the kids and just them going and experience what they experienced.
Yeah.
Because I've been to many a preseason game, and if someone offers me tickets, I will go. But it's mainly of like, oh, let's go see this player. Yeah, he sucks. Okay, or yes, oh, he's got something there. We can see that. That's why I go to preseason. Plus, it's football, so just to get that, just to go see, just to go do something, just to go see football. But yes, the games are long, especially week 1 of preseason.
But yeah, the smile on those kids' face, on 2 of the 3 kids, because the funniest thing in the world is, athletic as my cousin is, and as much as her husband loves sports, and we're a sports-loving family, her youngest daughter freaking hates sports. So she was having a miserable time, but she liked the cheerleaders.
There you go. She found something. Yeah, just don't take her to Jacksonville. She don't want to get in that pool. Don't do that. Don't do that. But yeah, oh yes, that is right. Thank you, Jeremy. Yeah, he is from Hollywood, Florida. That's where he got his nickname from there. And then he, like you said, because
that's literally just north of me.
Yeah,
like 20 minutes.
Yeah, and then 28-3 has done damage. If no one knows that, they were up 28-3, like 2.5 to 3/4 in against the Patriots, and then lost the Super Bowl. So yeah, 28-3. That's always going to be damaging for them. But yes, preseason football can be boring, especially when you're watching players trying to make the team. So that's, you're just sitting there. It's like, oh, who's this guy? And it's like, if you're like a college, you like, Jeremy's an OU fan, and stuff like that. So like, you're still watching it for like, oh, that player that I've watched basically grow up for 4 years on your college football team, and then they get a shot in the pros. You watch the games for those third string guys just trying to make the roster. You really don't watch it because you really can't get really thinking out of it as far as how good the team's going to be, because a lot of times the coaches don't implement everything and they hold things back, because this is in a sense meaningless football that happens because yes, they still need the preseason warm-ups and tune-ups, and they need to find out who's good on the roster, but mainly they do it because of money and the owners want it. So most of the time the team that wins the preseason sucks. So that's all I got.
Yep. Lower Bowl tickets for $34 a ticket.
Yeah, that's it. But let's change for there's no good transition for that. Let's keep going on with the Olympics. Yeah, money, which means gold. You know what? It was gold. The U.S., they won a lot of them, and so did China. But as far as overall medals, suck it, world. We ended up winning 40 gold medals, tying China for the most gold medals, and ended with 126 medals in total. We have the tiebreaker putting us in the lead because China got 91 medals in total, 127 medals in our heart, which we'll go into a little bit. I don't care if we won 127. And then this is pretty much what we do for the Summer Olympics. The Winter Olympics, a little bit different. That's not really our skill set, but it's still fun to watch certain sports that we're good at. But it's always nice, especially if you watch the track and field, which we'll get into. I don't know if you have that stat of just how much more medals we won in track and field compared to other. I don't know if you put that in there.
I did not, but I remember seeing it that I think the second most was 4 medals, and we won.
Yeah, we were
in the teens.
We had with 14 or 22 or something like that, 22 medals, and the next country had 9. It was ridiculous because we kept saying I kept saying when we were going into it about swimming and all that stuff, was just wait for track and field. For some reason, I keep hearing hype about our team and as far as our track and field, and we did the thing. So why don't you kind of go into just how dominant we were, even when we're sick?
Let's do it. First up, we got Annette Nika Echikunowoke.
Proud of you for that pronunciation. Don't know if it's right or not.
That got silver in the women's hammer throw, becoming the first woman to win an Olympic medal in the hammer throw. First U.S. woman, and born in the United States to Nigerian parents. She was going to represent Nigeria in the 2020-2021 Tokyo Olympics, but due to Nigeria's negligence, she decided to switch over to Team USA, and we are glad to have her. Thank you for your medal contribution and being the first woman to win a medal in the hammer throw. That's awesome, and I'm here for it. Cole Hawker won gold in the men's 1500 meter final, winning in an amazing fashion.
What a race.
What a race. Beating out the two favorites. Yared Naguse got the bronze in his first Olympics. Yared, if you remember, qualified for Tokyo, but got injured right before the Olympics took place. So I love the storyline of him getting back and being able to earn the medal. Josh Kerr of Great Britain, who was one of the favorites, got the silver. This is definitely one to watch if you have not seen it already.
And to kind of go before you go to the next one, I will shout out Yared. He graduated from my high school in Louisville, so he is a Louisville, Kentucky kid. So there you go. And I wish I knew it sooner, but now I feel like a jackass because I did not know it until then. A couple of my buddies that I graduated high school with are like, Yared. I'm like, okay. And then I looked, and everyone's just like, all the sports writers, like all the Louisville local writers are like, Yared from DuPont Manual High School. And I'm like, what? Why did I not know this? No one told me. Where's the memo? God damn it. But shout out.
But now you know.
Special shout out to him, obviously, being an alum and giving some
bronze
more.
Medalist.
Yeah, bronze medalist from my high school. I went to middle school with a guy who's won multiple World Series and was in the home run derby. And I also went to Western, and I know him. Shout out Jeremy Evans, who won the NBA dunk contest one year. I don't care if it sucks now. A champion's a champion. I don't care. And then we got Yared. So yeah.
Look at that. Next up, Gabby Thomas, man. One gold in the 200 meter with Brittany Brown getting the bronze. St. Lucia get their second Olympic medal, this time silver, because of Julian Alfred. So St. Lucia, can we go to St. Lucia for that party? Because they're probably going to party for months, and I'm here for it. Katie Moon with that wonderful graphic there, her pole vaulting over the moon, gets the silver medal in the women's pole vault. Her and the gold medalist, Nina Kennedy of Australia, tied at the last World Championship, making these two women the best in the world at pole vaulting. But this time, Nina was able to eke her out and get the gold. But I'm here for it. Well,
damn kangaroos.
Then we got Quincy Hall has a come from behind victory in the men's 400 meter final.
Yeah, he did.
If you have not seen this race, he looked like he was in pain, and he was like 4 or 5 back and was just like, I'm gonna do it. I'm in pain, but I'm gonna do it.
There's we'll get into one of my favorite meme of the Olympics, but there's a one where he's just like sitting there. You can just have just like the determination in his face. And someone just put that picture and says, I'm going to send this to someone when I'm running late, but that let them know I'm coming.
Right. We got Kenneth Rooks there in total surprise. Gets the silver medal in the 3,000 meter steeplechase in an incredible finish with the world champion Soufiane El Bakali of Morocco getting gold and Abraham Kibawat of Kenya getting bronze. In the last lap of the race, Lamesha Girma of Ethiopia took a hard fall and wasn't able to finish the race. They had to get a stretcher out to him. We hope that he's doing okay, but we're glad for Kenneth Rocks there getting silver. It was an amazing race for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, just we thought he was getting ready, and he just that last little leg, he couldn't hold him off. But hey,
yeah,
medal's a medal. It still counts.
Medal is a medal.
So
to the next one, the track and field couple there of the Olympics and Paralympics. Tara Davis Woodall wins gold in the long jump, along with Jasmine Moore getting the bronze. If you have not seen her husband hyping her up and cheering her on after she wins, go watch that video. It is the cutest thing in the world, and go watch the Paralympics to see him race. And then we got this race was just crazy. This race was crazy because the favorite, Noah Lyles, he got COVID.
He got COVID.
he freaking raced during COVID, and he was trying to make it his Michael Jordan flu game, but he didn't quite get that. The U.S. lose out on getting gold in the men's 200-meter final. Kenneth Bendark gets silver. Noah Lyles gets the bronze. Leslie Tebogo of Botswana got the gold. Yeah, and after he ran, when you see him like laying down on the ground and medical staff having to go to him, and you don't know yet that he has COVID, you're like, what the crap happened? So I'm going to throw to you, Josh. What did you think was going on before we found out Bro got COVID?
He looked off before, like, just when he's lining up and stuff. He just looked off. There was someone that I saw on that was there at the Olympics, one of the guys that I follow on Twitter, and he was there, and you could hear the roar of the crowd when Noah Lyles did come out. But yeah, after that, and here's the thing: it took a page out of every the sport that he hates, NBA playbook of if you're hurt, you get in a wheelchair to make yourself look as hurt as possible. All right, that's what you do. That being said, you shouldn't be there, you shouldn't be running, all that stuff. Bro still got a bronze with COVID.
Right?
Just nuts. Like all the other crap, he shouldn't have been out there. All the other
Bro has asthma too, so imagine like as COVID on top of having asthma, and the fact that COVID is one of those that like you can't breathe,
right?
Kind of things. It's an incredible feat. Should he have raced? Probably not.
Probably not.
Still an incredible feat.
That's just like the one thing I would just like. People are like, he shouldn't have been out there. I was like, yeah. That being said, he still got bronze on the final of the Olympics. It's not just some like world track thing that you did. It's like it's the biggest stage in your sport for that race, and you have a disease that you typically have no energy for, and you still went out there and got bronze.
Yeah,
you better have had COVID. That's all I have to say, because you talked a lot of mad game, dude. On that, so you talked a lot of mad game. You backed it up with 100.
Yeah,
that will never be taken away from you, and the fact that he did this with COVID. All the what you feel about having that disease around people is one thing. He was allowed to race, guys. He was allowed to race. So
and with this, I'm never going to blame an athlete for wanting to play or wanting to race. No. We've talked about this in soccer, where sometimes like an athlete shouldn't be playing because they're hurt, but they still go out there, and it's on it's the coach's job to say, hey, no, sit your ass down, and to save the athlete from themselves, so that way they don't get hurt further or they don't harm other people while playing because of their injury. So this is one that I don't blame him for running with COVID. I blame the people that allowed him to run with COVID. A lot of officials, and we've seen what they did with Sha'Carri and Shelly Ann about not letting them into the stadium either. So, like, this Olympics, as great as it's been, got some controversies. We'll get into one of them later today. But to the next race. Friggin' just Sydney. Queen. Friggin' Queen. There, no one's surprised. Sydney McLaughlin, Lavroni won gold, with Anna Cockrell getting silver in the 400-meter hurdles. Sydney also broke the world record, beating out her old world record by 28 seconds. So she was just like, you know what, I'm going to get it. But, the past world record holder, that was also me. So I'm just beating myself. I'm over here being Katie Ledecky, I'm going to just beat myself because I'm my only competition.
The only thing that stinks about her, she's a UK grad. I mean, just come on. Of any school that you went to dominate your sport in, you had to go to the rival that I don't like. But you know what? She's awesome.
She's so awesome. And then her and her fellow Grant Holloway, right next to her there, they were the captains for track and field, and he won the gold in the 110 meter hurdles, with Daniel Roberts getting the silver. And just our captains said, we gonna get gold.
Yeah, our captains. Yep, that's right. That's how the quote goes. And I was really wanting Holloway to get it, just because he's like the last Olympics he like DQ'd or something like that, something like that. And then this one, we knew that going up against the two Jamaicans, it was going to be, and he just dominated like he was supposed to. So I was really happy to see that. And that's right, Jamaica, suck it. But I do want to go to Jamaica at one point, go to the Sandals Resort, so still be cool.
This next one we got the U.S. win the women's 4x100 meter relay with Sha'Carri Richardson as the anchor, with the coldest finish. The look continue to go. It was Usain Bolt-esque, if I may. I loved it. And the fact too that Sydney, she ran 400 hurdles. She ran the 4x100. She ran the 4x400. You got Gabby Thomas doing the 200 meter, the 4x100, the 4x400, which we'll get to. Like, literally, they're just like, you know what, we're going to do all the meters. And that's different styles of running there. Like, it's not the same kind of running when you change the distances. So just our U.S. women, they're great. And then this freaking bozo here. Oh, wait, no, I'm not to the right one. Rai Benjamin won the gold for 400
Yeah, I was about to say, he wasn't a bozo. He was awesome.
He's not a bozo. This freaking bozo here. Shelby McEwen got the silver medal in the men's high jump, and he a fool. He could have shared gold medal with New Zealand's Hamish Kerr, but he chose to continue competing and then crapped the bed and got the silver. Like, literally, he was just like, nah, I want the gold, and then missed every single jump after that.
Hey,
and that's what happens.
That's what happens sometimes. But I gotta tip my cap to him, because you play to win the game.
He already won the game, and then his arrogance made him lose.
Nope. He didn't want to splitsies. Some people don't want to splitsies. They want to. You're there to beat everyone else.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's no splitsies. Just make you look like sportsmanship on high. You're still a gold medal winner. There's literally no downside to splitsies. Now he a loser. If you ain't first, you're last, and he's the first loser.
Yeah. So I mean, I just always like, that's the mindset. There's no splitsies. There's only one winner. Even though that's still a viral video that we show all the time between those two Olympians, and they realize that, hey, I think it's like the first time that I can remember that they're like, hey, you both tied. Do you want to just we can either keep going, or you can both have the gold medal. And that one guy like reaches out his hand to the other guys, like, and I think it was Italian that he was, and I forget the other. I think the other guy was from Cater, and he just like put his hand up to the Italian. The Italian's like, really? And he was like, yeah. And they both just started celebrating.
Yeah, and that's the spirit of the games. He a bozo. Sorry, Rai Benjamin, you're not a bozo. You're a gold medalist. And we love you.
Go back and watch Rai, because he was so distraught that he lost 4 years ago to Tokyo, but it was against the world record holder, and he just ran a cleaner race. Like, the guy stumbled a little. He didn't stumble, but he stumbled a little bit, just enough and Rai ran a solid race, and he won it by a good amount. So, shout out to Rai.
And then we got Masia Russell there winning in the women's 100 meter hurdle. So look at that gold. The next one, Grant Fisher, got the bronze in the 5,000 meter final. Just showing that long distance, he's got it, man. He's freaking got it. And then we have both the men and women got gold in the 4x400 meter relay, running incredible races. The men set the Olympic record and were 14 seconds away from the world record held by the US in 1993. The women were 10 seconds away from the world record, which is held by the USSR in 1988, and were way ahead of anyone else. They looked like they were running by themselves.
It was like Secretariat in the Belmont. If just go watch it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, get your last thing. Then I've got my 2 cents about the men's 100-meter relay.
The last thing I'm going to talk about, we don't got a picture here, and it's not Team USA, but my roots, my Cuban roots. I'm very proud of my Cuban brothers going 1, 2, 3 in the long jump. It's the first time ever that 3 athletes born in the same country sweep the podium representing different countries. Jordan Alejandro Diaz Fortun, because you got to have all the names, got gold for Spain. Pedro Picardo got silver for Portugal, and Andy Diaz Hernandez got bronze for Italy. They escaped dictatorship and then got an Olympic medal, so they're the real winners.
They got freedom. They got medals. They're great.
But Josh, I know that you wanted to say some words.
We're cursed in the men's 100-meter relay. We just are. I don't think we've won it like the past 6 Olympics for random reasons. We couldn't hold on to the baton. One time we dropped it, DQ'd this one. This one, Noah Lyles gets COVID, so he was able to run his 200-meter, but he definitely wasn't able to run the 100. This relay the next day. So we had basically our alternate to come in, and we screwed up right out of the jump. The guy who got the silver medal mistimed because there's only a certain length that you have to exchange the baton, and our guy ran too fast for the other guy to catch up to him, and he basically had to stop, and they kind of ran into each other and then went over that. So we DQ'd in the final, and I don't think we've won, or at least we haven't won since 98, 96, something like that. It's been a minute.
96 was Atlanta.
Right, 96 was Atlanta, so I think that was the last time we might have won it. I don't know. I just looked at how many times we didn't win, and they've been pretty together.
And just made yourself sad?
It just made myself sad because we easily were the best team.
Yeah.
Not easily, but you saw what we were doing in track and field. We had silver medals, gold medalists, all these guys.
And they all won medals in their own respective singles.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, we got this, and they were coming in as a heavy favorite. And then you know what happened when we screwed it up? Canada.
Yep. Hey, but the women got it.
Oh, I know, and that's I'm getting ready to talk about that. My favorite things, but I'll let you switch on to the more controversial things in life.
Yeah. I was just hoping that this final week of Olympics talks wasn't going to have a part where we talk about controversies. But the Olympics still decided we're just like, nah, we're gonna continue. We can't have nice things. Last week, when we covered gymnastics at the Olympics, we spoke about the history that was made when we got an all-black podium in Olympic gymnastics history when it came to the floor exercise, with Rebecca Andrade of Brazil winning the gold, Simone Biles the silver, and Jordan Chiles the bronze. And it's hers. It's her freaking medal. Jordan Chiles was originally scored lower due to a judge's error where she didn't get the full points for rotation in one of her tumbling passes. The U.S. decided to challenge, which any athlete is able to do. And we spoke last week about how challenging is dangerous because sometimes you end up with a lower score if the judges catch something they didn't originally catch. However, this time, the challenge was successful, was accepted by the judges, which that's the main thing. It was accepted. And Jordan Chiles won the bronze, and if it was judged correctly in the first place, she would have gotten the bronze with no issues. So this is a judging error through and through. The Romanian Olympic Committee appealed the challenge, saying it wasn't fair to the girl who thought she had gotten the bronze and that the U.S. was 4 seconds late in putting in their challenge. The IOC and FIG decided to strip Jordan Childs of her medal and give it back to the Romanian 5 days after they competed. To put it into perspective, the only time the IOC has stripped an athlete of their medal is because of doping and cheating, which Jordan Childs did neither of those, and those medals were stripped away years after the incident, which we'll kind of get a little bit into that in our next segment. But like, these are years later. This happened like literally immediately after, which is so unfair. Another wrinkle in the story is the U.S. offered to share the medal with Romania, and Romania even agreed, and the IOC said no. I was originally here for sharing medals in the spirit of the Olympics, but when it came out that the Romanian gymnast, her federation, Romanian fans, and Nadia Comaneci herself started spewing racist rhetoric about Jordan Childs and the rest of the podium, I now changed my attitude. You weren't good enough to get bronze. Sucks to suck. Do better next time. Like, so before I'm like, yeah, they can share. Why don't they share the medal? Now I'm just like, nah, she a loser. But now she's being rewarded for her tears, and this is setting a terrible precedent. And we have right here the rules. I'm not going to read all of them for you. This is the score inquiries, though. And it does talk about how the last gymnast gets a minute to appeal, and Jordan Childs was the last. But it also clearly states that the rules that NOCs, which are nations, are not allowed to inquire about athletes from another NOC, and Romania clearly did with the 4-second nonsense. That was the reason for their appeal, saying the U.S. was too late to change it. The IOC and FIG went against their own rules, and lawyers have been coming out of the woodwork saying that the USOPC can fight this, which they currently are in the process of doing. We got the initial joint statement by USA Gymnastics and the USOPC. Here going, we are devastated by the Court of Arbitration for Sports ruling regarding women's floor exercise. The inquiry into the difficulty value of Jordan Childs' floor exercise routine was filed in good faith, and we believe in accordance with FIG rules to ensure accurate scoring. Throughout the appeal process, Jordan has been subject to consistent, utterly baseless, and extremely hurtful attacks on social media. No athlete should be subject to such treatment. We condemn the attacks and those who engage support or instigate them. We commend Jordan for conducting herself with integrity both on and off the competition floor, and we continue to stand by and support her. Then we got other statements here, and this is Christine Brennan, who is she is a columnist for USA Today and a commentator for CNN, ABC News, PBS, and NPR. And she was kind of just like texting a representative of the USOPC saying, like, yo, what's going on? And they gave her a statement to print out in USA Today, which was that the USOPC will be appealing the recent decision made by the Court of Arbitration for Sport regarding Jordan Childs. We firmly believe that Jordan rightfully earned the bronze medal, and there were critical errors in both the initial scoring by the International Gymnastics Federation and subsequent CAS appeal process that needs to be addressed. The initial error occurred in the scoring by FIG, and the second error was during the CAS appeal process, where the USOPC was not given adequate time or notice to effectively challenge the decision. As a result, we were not properly represented or afforded the opportunity to present our case comprehensively. Given these circumstances, we are committed to pursuing an appeal to ensure Jordan Childs receives the recognition she deserves. We remain dedicated to supporting her as an Olympic champion and will continue to work diligently to resolve the matter swiftly and fairly. And what I'm kind of getting from this statement is that when Romania appealed, they didn't bring the U.S. back into the room to kind of fight it. And that's one of those where, like, if these are disputes and arbitration, you're supposed to have both parties there, and they did not bring the U.S. into it. So, you know, they're making mistakes all around. USA Gymnastics then puts out another statement. We have all the statements here. USA Gymnastics on Sunday formally submitted a letter and video evidence to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, conclusively establishing that head coach Cecile Landy request to file an inquiry was submitted 47 seconds after the publishing of the score within the 1 minute deadline required by FIG rules. In the letter, USA Gymnastics requested that the CAS ruling be revised and Child's bronze medal score of 13.766 reinstated. The basis for the CAS ruling on Friday, striking down the inquiry, was that the inquiry submitted on behalf of Miss Jordan Childs in the final of the women's floor exercise was raised after the conclusion of 1 minute deadline provided by Article 8.5 of the 2024 FIG technical regulations and is determined to be without effect. The timestamped video evidence submitted by USA Gymnastics Sunday evening shows Landy first stated her request on file inquiry at the inquiry table 47 seconds after the score is posted, followed by a second statement 55 seconds after the score was originally posted. The video footage provided was not available to USA Gymnastics prior to the tribunal's decision, and thus USAG did not have the opportunity to previously submit it. So all the things. So turns out we did get it in time. That the judges scored it wrong. We got it in time. It was appealed correctly. We did all the things that were required of us. But even though we did everything right, USA Gymnastics then put out another statement going, was notified by the Court of Arbitration for Sports on Monday that the rule does not allow for an arbitral award to be reconsidered even when conclusive new evidence is presented. We are deeply disappointed by the notification and will continue to pursue every possible avenue and appeal process, including the Swiss Federal Tribunal, to ensure the just scoring, placement, and medal award for Jordan. As I said before, regardless, if things were scored correctly, she would have gotten the bronze. So the Romanians have an asterisk in their medal tally. In my head, she's the bronze medal winner. And as some random guy named Brandon on Twitter wrote, let me tell you something, Miss Nadia Comaneci and the rest of Romania. If you're going to pull, I'd like to speak to your manager on us, you best not miss. You ain't going to out Karen the USA. And also, you're not going to out arbitrate the USA either. We're one of those that how many times do we hear I'll sue you in this country? Like, our lawyers, for good or for bad, we're a very litigious nation. So
we got articles on articles, post Proctor hawked off your ass.
So Josh, your thoughts?
Okay. If you want us to give a shit about the gymnastics, stop. Number one of that, because this is bull. You have challenges on challenges on challenges, and after it's over and days later, you're still challenging on the challenge. I don't get that. And then once it's challenged, you're like, well, no, we're done. We're not going to do that anymore. It's like, no. If someone appeals, give it to the appeals court. Now, granted, we're used to our legal system. Our legal system is way different than every other. There's double jeopardy in other countries. I forget which. Remember that court case? I think it was in Spain about the foreign exchange student, and they thought that she murdered her roommate or whatever, and then she was found not guilty. But so that was good. But then they brought her back because there is no double jeopardy. And I think it was Spain. I'm just going by memory here.
I have no idea, but we do have double jeopardy in our country. Yeah.
Right. There is no double jeopardy somewhere else. I'm not explaining double jeopardy, whatever. But watch the Ashley Judd movie. It's fun. But poor Jordan Childs. Girl can't catch a break for rules. No. She should have been in the all around against Suni and the GOAT, but she wasn't because of some dumb. You can only have two competitors per country.
Per country.
Per country. So she couldn't get that. Then she does what she needs to do to get bronze. They made a right challenge. She's awarded the bronze. Cool. It's at the time, it sucked to see that one girl, the Romanian, tear up. He didn't like it. But and you're like, maybe in the back of your mind, they're like, yeah, we'll just go ahead and accept the challenge because of some weird rule. We couldn't let her do the all around. and this was a good enough challenge. So maybe they were leaning towards that. But then Romania, I mean, the way it sounds, no one else was in the room where it happened, unfortunately, for that. And it's just, this seems like the most legal, effed up, cockamamie crap.
Yeah.
That I could see. This reminds me of in '72 when the U.S. men lost. If they were in the finals against USSR at the time, the game was over, and then the Russians went and griped and bitched, and they decided to put more time on the clock. They literally brought them all the way out of their locker rooms. This is basketball. Brought them all the way out of their locker rooms to put more time on the clock. The Russians end up the time that didn't even make sense to put it back on. There's a 30 for 30. You can look it. They go that the Russians win. The U.S.
We were stolen that medal too.
Stole that medal, and we never, till this day, have accepted that silver medal if it's somewhere in Russia somewhere. So the U.S. has never accepted it. So it's always us against the world, and that's okay. I got 127 reasons why you all suck. That's all I got to say on that. So, Jordan Childs earned it. It wasn't given. Now, granted, the Romanians still competed enough to get there. I'm not going to sit there and be like they just gave it to her just because. But I don't like people getting it because of legality and not because of what was done on the field. Now, granted, yes, we did challenge, but you challenge stuff because they're human. Things get it wrong. But it sucks when it becomes this is a rule rather than, well, we didn't think you ruled this correctly because it's a scored event and not just points on the board. You do this, you get this many points. Yes, referees do have it, but that's the one thing that a lot of people don't like about anything that is judged. It's like, well, it's up to that eye of the beholder instead of, and yes, there is a scoring system in which they have to do, but at the end of the day, we saw this in figure skating before we're getting to the figure skating of 2012, but there was some other stuff that happened with the Canadians where they skated perfectly, and then the Russians effed up, and then one Russian judge was like, that's okay, I'll give it to them. And then that guy ended up getting fired or whatnot off of the committee and all that other stuff. But unfortunately, that stuff happens. But just I get why they would fight for it because they need all the medals they can get. But Jordan Childs earned it, and she should have been in the final she should have competed in the all around. So it's just like she got to go, but she still earned it.
And regardless to whether you think that your athlete deserved the medal, if you're Romanian and you're part of the Romanian Federation, Romanian Gymnastics, Nadia Comaneci, there's no room to be racist.
No.
So you're just looking like a sore loser at that point. And so to me, it was one of those because like we talked about, we felt really bad for that girl. And we were just, and it's one of those just like afterwards, I'm like, oh, maybe if they could share the medals, like I was talking with my friends, like that makes sense because it's not the Romanians' fault. It's not Jordan's fault that the judge made an error. But now that the Romanians being racist, I'm like, fuck that girl. Like, honestly, fuck her. Like, so.
Other than Jordan Childs going out there and doing what she's supposed to do, you don't know how. Anyway, that's a whole different. But don't guys, come on. If you have your problem is not with Jordan Childs. Your problem is with how the scoring system is. Yeah. So leave her out of it. You just hit X versus V. Who cares what they look like or anything like that? They both competed. They both were around the same. It all comes down to what these 7 people, I don't know how many people judge, but it all comes down to these 7 people and the rules that are in place. There's no reason to attack V because you didn't like what these 7 other people did.
Exactly. But you know who's coming to the rescue? It's Flavor Flav. He said, hey, yo, Jordan Childs, I'm going to make you a bronze clock necklace. And that's something no one else has. Hit me up, girl. I got you. And just, we've talked about Snoop, but also Flavor Flav. This Olympics has been amazing. And for all the millennials out there, it's probably been it's wonderful to watch both Snoop Dogg and Flavor Flav be the highlights of this Olympics.
And then I liked it too that the only time you saw Tom Brady or like Peyton Manning or something like that was when like other athletes were meeting them and they were going around and interacting with the Olympic athletes, which gives us a good transition into our favorite things of the Olympics. And that's always a big thing with me It's just the interaction that you get when there wasn't racism being involved, because that's what it's supposed to squash, is cultures coming together, hanging out, and falling in love, because we have that all the time. That's why there's 22,000 condoms every time. And we talked about the beds and all the other stuff, because Olympic Village, bunch of 20-something-year-olds who
they
are
be
in the
fucking.
they be fucking. All right. But you still see a lot of like married couples that have families now, and they met in the Olympic Village. But this is what it's all about. Is it? I'm not talking about the nefarious stuff, but it's mainly about everyone just hanging out in the village, and that's what we talked about when it was coming to California. That yes, they are doing softball and kayaking and stuff in Oklahoma, and you think, why don't they spread it out? Because that's not what the Olympics is about. It's about all of us coming together of the world. Even if you aren't good at your event that you end up having canceled for future Olympic stuff, you all still come together and get to know each other's cultures and stuff like that. And that's what we do. U.S. does festivals and stuff like that all the time, of going and seeing each other cultures. How about we just do this once every 4 years, and it's really fun.
Exactly. Well spoken. And I got a few favorites, and one of them is on that of just all the athletes being so nice to each other, showing it doesn't matter where we come from. We can find ways to get along with one another. And one interaction that I do want to highlight is when Tamires Araujo Prasad, am I saying her name right? Who knows? Of Brazil, carried rivaled Albertina Kosoma of Angola off the court during their handball match. After Kosoma got an injury that kept her from standing. If you haven't seen the video yet, go watch it. Like, she's literally, it's sportsmanship to a T. She comes over, she lifts her up, she carries her over across the court to their bench. And I'm just like, these moments of interactions between these athletes is literally one of my favorite things. Another favorite, we talked about her last week, Iman Khalif. She won her women's 66 kilogram final after everything she's gone through already in these games. It was cool to see her win. And the way all the medalists were acting on the podium was super cute. I'm here for it. Like, they literally were just so happy for each other. And again, sports, people coming together, people being happy, even though they're competitors, they're also human beings that care and respect one another. I'm also here for Iman Khalif suing the crap out of everyone who called her a man or transgendered, which she's currently doing right now. So I'm here for that.
Yeah. Trish is here for the gymnast pullout game. So shout out to that. You need more gymnastic terms in there. That's the problem. You need more.
A few more.
Just a few more.
And kind of the last thing I want to highlight is people getting their gold medals for previous games in Paris. U.S. figure skating received their gold medal from the 2022 Beijing Olympics. Lashinda Demas got her gold medal from the 400-meter hurdle from the 2012 London Olympics, and Eric Kenyard got his gold medal from the men's high jump from the 2012 London Olympics as well. These gold medals were originally beaten out by Russians, but because Russia doping, the IOC decided to strip Russia of their gold medals and did a reallocation ceremony in Paris for all the athletes that didn't get their proper medals because of Russian doping. It was cool to see athletes that were actually wronged getting their medals they deserved. So those were some of my favorite parts of the Olympics.
We can't show the video, but I will show a drawing of said video that I really loved.
Oh, this was so cute.
This was just the cutest thing ever. If you ever see it, watch the video of. So she got silver, and she's is she Chinese?
Yes.
Okay. And is it the balance beam? Is that the one that thing is for? I think it was for the balance beam.
Yeah.
But anyway, the two Italians, obviously, they're up there, and they both brought, like a lot of times, where the two swimmers for U.S. Brought them Walsh and, what was her? Tori.
Anyway.
Tori Husk, thank you. Tori brought Walsh onto the main gold medal podium for the national anthem. Well, they kind of did that, but they both, she brought him on, and so the Chinese girl is looking over, and they both like bit, and she's like, Okay.
Okay, I'll join. She's like, I
Fine.
don't know. I don't know
what
this
I'm doing.
custom, but
I don't know what,
sure.
but that's what I'll do.
And I think
So
she's like 16 too, so like
yeah,
it's
I mean
really
she's
cute.
super young, but I'd love to show the video, but I'm pretty sure it'd get us
It,
whatever.
it was absolutely adorable. I
It was
loved it too.
adorable. Other one, Shakari Richardson with the where you going? You're not supposed to do that, but it's Shikari. Like that's just Shikari in a
And
nutshell.
Usain Bolt used to do that too.
Yeah, he used to do that. Then he'd also like pat his chest when he's like
Yeah.
3 steps from the. But he's Usain Bolt. He's like he's the greatest sprinter of all time. And then the other one is Sabrina Ionesco went over to Vanessa and Kobe's family to hug them and celebrate with that. So. Yep, it's still gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Every Olympics.
BG made me cry, and then Sabrina and the Bryants made me cry. I'm like, stop making me cry.
Right. So yeah, I mean, but this is what the Olympics are all about. But yeah, that podium of just the Chinese girl, and again, we talk about cultures coming together, and she just totally just like. She thought that was what they're supposed to do. Like she just had that the look of just what we're doing this? Okay. She even felt like timid just biting it. It was like the cutest freaking thing ever. She was just like, am I supposed to do this? Like, or what are we doing?
Yeah, it was one of those that like, oh, is this the tradition of the Olympics? Okay.
Right. And shout out Haley Van Lith. She got her bronze. But next, 4 years, Cam Brink is going to be back. And she's going to be double duty because we're going to get our gold back.
I don't think she can be double duty.
She probably can't. Also, too, did you see where Ice Cube put out a challenge to the Netherlands, which is the men's 3v3 winner, to come face, because he does a 3v3 basketball league. And he said, I want you all to come face our either all-star team or our champion. And then he's going to pay them like, $150,000 and all this other stuff. Well, the team accepted it, but their nation is trying to stop them from doing it. But hopefully they can make it happen.
Come on, Netherlands. Let's live a little. Come on now.
Oh, Tushka and your dad jokes.
But the last thing we'll speak on the Olympics is that closing ceremony. Paris passed it on to LA. We got performances by her, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Billie Eilish, Snoop Dogg, and Dr. Dre. We got Tom Cruise, doing what he does best. We were hearing that he was going to do a stunt, and he kind of did a stunt. And we got to see Tom Cruise running, which my dad calls him the best runner in the biz. And Josh, I think we got some new sports for LA 28.
We kind of led to it, but we're getting baseball and softball back. Now, I don't know the exact rules. We talked about it in previous shows where at this point, to be a host country, I think you have to at least accommodate a certain amount of sports or sporting events. But then now they're getting a little more lenient of, hey, maybe not bankrupt the country to have events that they really can't accommodate, but they're going to make them build whole stadiums that are going to sit dormant forever, and you just basically, it's just not a good return on investment for that country. Do I know that for a fact? That's just my theory on why we only have.
You are actually spitting facts.
Okay, all right,
good job, Josh.
Yeah, I can put 2 and 2 together on that. And then, but we're getting baseball and softball. We're getting flag football. That's right, Tyreek Hill. You ready for this off season? 4 years from now, when you're like 50, I don't know how old you are. I doubt if we're gonna have any players, it's gonna be former professional players, because this is right in the heat, right in the thick of it. If we're gonna do it, because they hold off from OTAs and stuff, so it'll be interesting to see with flag football, especially being there in LA. So it's not like they have to travel to another country,
right?
So it'll be interesting to see. If we've got, freaking Lamar out there throwing to Tyreek Hill, be crazy.
I would love it. I would absolutely love it.
Right. With that. So, but we'll see, just because it's the first time where we actually had some type of football, any type of form of football that I can remember, American football, being involved with the Olympics. So it'll be, I know the NFL players will be foaming at the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, it's not up to them.
Right.
It's up to the people who are paying them gajillions of dollars to play not the Olympics for that. Then we have lacrosse. So shout out to all you all the Caucasian bros out there. You got your sport back. Tell me it's not a Caucasian bro sport.
It is a Caucasian bro sport. No, that's why I'm laughing.
Yeah, and then cricket and squash. If someone could tell me the difference between the two, put it in the comments below because I don't know the difference.
We're giving India some medals. Yeah. India and Pakistan.
Well, suck it, Pakistan, because we beat you all this year in some other thing in cricket, but I forget what the World Cup or whatever it was. And then, unfortunately, we won't have breakdancing. It came and went, but hey, you'll never forgotten, Miss Ray Gunn.
And she'll be in our hearts forever.
Which led me to my favorite meme. There's a lot of memes, but this is my favorite meme. If you know, you know. That's just so. Hey, congratulations, GIF of the year. You're up there. You're nominated. GIF of the year. For that. That's right. GIF Taylor. I need your opinion. He must be
so pissed right now.
Right.
That he didn't come up with it.
He didn't come up with it. Step your game up. On that. Oh, can't wait for karaoke to be part of the Olympics. Yep. Lacrosse. It's a native sport taken by whites.
Oh, true.
All right. Well, I know you said that to wrap up the Olympics, but we didn't wrap up the Olympics until we talk about the U.S. women doing their thing.
Yeah, they did do their thing. And we beat Germany 1-0 with Sophia Smith scoring in extra time, bringing us to the game that really matters. USA versus Brazil for the gold, which, side note, congratulations, Germany, for beating Spain and getting the bronze. You did it. But we beat Brazil 1-0 with Mallory Swanson scoring the only goal in the 57th minute. And they actually pulled out from her when she was younger in school. She wrote in her yearbook she wanted to be part of the U.S. women's national team and win a gold medal at the Olympics. And I think younger her is very proud of herself because she did it. One thing we haven't discussed, because we're USA over here, but we need to talk about the legend Martha for a second. Like Diana Taurasi, Martha has been to the Olympics every year since 2004 and is one of the pillars of women's soccer. A few games previously, she got a red card, which she did deserve, even though I'm like, can we make a Martha rule where, like, you don't give her a red card? She broke down on the field because that could have possibly been her last game with Brazil since she is retiring after this tournament. She ended up getting suspended for 2 games, and her team was able to eke it out and just win for her. And they beat Spain, which Spain is the number 1 in the world right now in FIFA rankings. They're the World Cup winners, and they are also were the favorites. But fun fact, no team that has won the World Cup go on to win the Olympics the following year on the women's side, so they ended up not doing it, just like every other time. And as we've seen in sports, when you play for another person, that propels you forward. And that brought Brazil to a final. But it wasn't good enough because, the U.S., we going to win gold, baby. We going to win gold. It was a tough match. There were moments that Brazil were playing better than us, and they even got a goal called offside in the first half. But the U.S. had moments of brilliance, and the goal from Mallory Swanson was one of them. And in a sport like soccer, it just takes one moment to win. Also, Alyssa Nair, yeah, beauty. She's such a brick wall, and she's been making great saves this entire tournament, and I love her. And her and Naomi Girma are kind of the reason we went as far as we did. And wild stat for you, Alyssa Nair is the only goalkeeper to ever get a shutout in both a World Cup final and an Olympic final. So she to go. She to go to
that say that she did for that header. Ooh, boy.
So she's so good. She's so good. The U.S. has shown that whenever we lose a World Cup, the next year we win an Olympic gold. And since 1991, the U.S. has won a major tournament in every cycle. 91 World Cup, 96 Olympics, 99 World Cup, 04 Olympics, 08 Olympics, 2012 Olympics, 2015 World Cup, 2019 World Cup, 2024 Olympics. So we stay winning. That's what we do.
All right, Alyssa, whatever you do, you're the next great goalkeeper. Of the last great goalkeeper, don't get into any domestic disputes of anything. Not
don't
a good
look. Drunk.
Don't do that. So don't do those things. Just a thing of warning. As like when someone else messes up, I hope you're taking notes.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're that goalkeeper. There's no denying that for sure. And just don't do what you do on the field, but off the field as far as doing it with being awesome and making good decisions.
And pretty much all I've seen of her off the field is she grills some burgers, she watches some football, like
and she talks shit with the best of them, because I've seen her on some shows with a bunch of dudes, and she's just like one of the,
she's from Connecticut, but basically she's from the Boston area. Mm-hmm. Like, it tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, she talks shit with the best of them. So Alyssa, that's all. I'm not going to name names, but you know what I'm talking about. Just don't do anything stupid off the field.
Now, we've talked about how if we show goals, we get blocked from YouTube. But you know what we can show? We can show the legend Abby Wambach watching the goal. So let's do that.
Nice.
Go. Leave it.
Way off, I think.
She's on. Finish. She's on. Finish. Awesome. Such a good lead.
My favorite part about that too is that that's the new jersey, but she's still wearing Wambach.
Yeah. She's kind of earned it.
She has definitely.
It's like any iteration, she better get a jersey with her number and last name. She's kind of. I've got some World Cups and gold medals to say that she's probably earned it.
And one thing that a friendship that I didn't know existed beforehand, but I freaking love that it existed, is that Dawn Staley and Emma Hayes are actually very good friends. And Dawn Staley was at the match. And if you remember, Dawn Staley, she coached Camila Cardoso, who is currently now with the Chicago Sky. And Camila Cardoso is Brazilian. So Dawn Staley tweeted out, "Yo, Camila, and I have a wager on this game. If she wins, I wear a Brazilian jersey on the sideline for a game. If I win, she wears during Tunnel Walk and IG Live." We ended up winning, so then Dawn goes, "Hey, Camila, what size U.S. Women's National Team jersey you need? Coach got you. Let's go." And then Camila over here post with that face, large jersey, I guess. And Dawn, I love you, K-Mill.
Yeah. And speaking about, if Camila with the Brazilian team in 4 years, she gonna.
If they could qualify, they just need to freaking qualify, man.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, if they're on the right track with Camila.
And they were very close to qualifying for this one, but yeah. I love it too because when she got drafted, Martha gave did a video for her welcoming her to the WNBA. So I kind of like that we kind of seen it a little bit with Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe about how like women's basketball and women's soccer has combined, but now it's really starting to combine more and more, just like these women's athletes loving up on each other. We saw Breanna Stewart and and Rose Lavelle. Rose Lavelle went to a New York Liberty game, and Breonna Stewart signed her jersey for her.
Mm-hmm.
And like she was just like in such awe, and she posted on like, "Oh my God, I got this signed by Stewie." And then Stewie was like, "I need your Olympic jersey signed by you." And she's like, "You were 100% going to get a jersey for me." So I just love the camaraderie that we're having between sports, but still U.S. women.
Speak about camaraderie in between U.S. women. There's been some scuttlebutt about Asia and your boy Bam.
I know. There's some scuttlebutt about it, and nothing has been confirmed, but that's a little exciting if we get Asia in Miami,
As soon as they have the gender reveal party, depending on the gender, there is going to be a lot of collegiate coaches at the birth.
Right.
There was one time Montrezl Harrell, who was a U of L player, but he's a former Sixth Man of the Year in the NBA, and him and Patrick Ewing's daughter were dating at U of L because she was a volleyball player. And I said, if they have a child, Rick Pitino is going to be right there with a letter of intent.
Exactly. Well, we have one last thing to talk about in soccer, and that is about old man Tim Ream. Tim Ream will be leaving Fulham, part of the EPL, the English Premier League, and joining Charlotte FC in the MLS. So he's coming back home to the United States. He's originally from St. Louis, but he's going to be living in Charlotte. Tim Ream is the center back for the U.S. men's national team, and he's played in England for over a decade now. All of his kids were born over there. They all have English accents. So I don't know if they're going to automatically start getting American accents because they're young enough, or what's going to happen there, but that'll be interesting. But Charlotte did one of the best and worst, but ultimately best videos for Tim Ream coming back home. And I really wish Tushka was here as well, because I want both of you to watch this, but Tushka can watch it in post. But I want to get your reaction to this wonderful video here.
All right.
Now watch this drive.
Y'all take care.
Great American. I'm an oil.
The United States.
What the hell was that?
The official team.
I know.
The official team put that out.
I just like that. No allows the United States.
So Josh, thoughts?
Hey man, we don't do anything half-assed. I guess here in America, we drown you in red, white, and blue, and even if you don't like it, you're gonna get it anyway. It's like freaking going to the Kids' Choice Awards. You're gonna get nailed with it, type of thing. So yeah, that's hilarious though that they put all that together. United States. That's a shout out to Noah Lyles. And they bleeped it out, but still, they showed like 4 trucks and
Spinning.
Yeah, spinning like 4 trucks. It's like that old like Power Thirst that College Humor did. It was like, this is made by gun.
It was beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But before we show our last beautiful video, Josh, where can the people find us?
They can find us at patreon.com/RuckusEV for all. So join us over there. For all, if you were thinking about doing any type of YouTube shows or Twitch shows or anything like that, you have an idea, please let us know. Join our Patreon, and we will help you get that going, get it started, and join this great community that we have here. Also, down below, you have our Discord, which we talk about any and everything. Anything you want to talk about, we're over there just doing the thing and talking about it here. No, I've said talk too many times, but it's over there. I'm rambling. And then you can also find us on the Twitters and stuff like that. As far as shows, we have the Game Dudes coming up tomorrow. Our Game Dudes cast is growing a little bit. And by growing, we added one. But there's 5 of us now, so you might have 3 of us playing sometimes. You might have 4 of us playing. You might have 2. who knows, and who knows what games, but we always try and bring you some of the obscure games. We're not going to Call of Duty it. We're not a Bros Bro. We play a lot of more indie based, type of games, but they're always cooperative. So we're always going to talk shit to each other. We're going to have fun, and we hope you all can come and join us and tell us how bad we are at video games. Mainly me, because I'm the face that you see. Everyone else is just a voice. And then on Thursday we have our Ruckus Wrestling with me and Justin Toner. We should talk about and kind of a wrap up of what is, was, and will be in the world of professional wrestling, which we have a good time over there. And then starting up shortly will be the Fantasy Fuck Around. Will be coming back because it's football time for those kids out there. So we've got that coming up. So yeah, just a lot of good things to look forward to, especially coming into the fall.
So continue to follow us, continue to watch, and we thank you so much for your patronage.
Mm-hmm.
But you ready to watch this last video?
Yeah. Here it is. Your moment of zen. Let me hit the edit.
And she stayed on.
Oh, no. Oh, that had to hurt. Oh, double bounce. Belly flop. Oh. And also shout out to Australian breakdancer because she was in that.
She should be in this video 100%. But anyway, goodbye.
Shout out Reagan. Hey,
we love you.